Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Micah, and it's another beautiful day in the frozen wastes of Skyrim. I wanted to talk a little bit today about how the different Elder Scrolls games are, how exploration is conducted in the different games with different titles, and yeah, how it can be fun and engaging in Skyrim and Oblivion, despite how those games rely on quest markers and the HUD in general. And you too, brother. Yeah, so to talk briefly about the history of navigation and exploration in the Elder Scrolls games, we should first talk about the pillars of role playing games, at least Dungeons and Dragons style RPGs. Um, this is by no means universal, but in most RPGs, you'll find that there are three main ways of engaging with the game. There's combat, which gets emphasized pretty heavily in a lot of games today. There are social interactions, which should be prevalent regardless of the kind of game you're playing. But I know some groups are um, pretty bent on not exploring that thoroughly. Others emphasize it more heavily depending on their playstyle. And finally, there's exploration. And I'm not sure if I have a favorite of any of these three, but if I had to pick, it would probably be exploration. I just love seeing what's in the world. I love engaging with the environment around me and seeing what kind of um, wacky hijinks or flora or fauna that the dungeon master, or in this case, the game developers, have in store for me. And in a perfect world, I believe that a dungeon would be conducive to all three of these things. You're exploring the dungeon, you're finding new secrets about the dungeon, and you're learning about its layout, you're finding loot. And of course, while you're in the dungeon, you're more than likely going to end up encountering some enemies that you need to combat with. And if you're someone who is based and procedure pilled when running your dungeons, whenever your players run into creatures or monsters or NPCs or things of that sort, the dungeon master will run a reaction roll to see how favorably the players are received by this group of creatures, whether they're hostile immediately, or whether they're running from something and perhaps need assistance, or want to seek parley or trade through some other manner. I could talk all day about how a dungeon is conducive to all three of these elements, but I'm going to hold off for now and talk about how exploration has changed over time in Elder Scrolls. So, for those who have not played the early games, like Daggerfall and Arena, to get from one place to another, you almost have to use fast travel. There are some mods for Daggerfall Unity that have changed this, but the basic principle is the same thing. You know, you get a dungeon put on your map, you click on the dungeon or search for it and click on it, and you transport to it. It's pretty straightforward. It seems like whenever Bethesda was working on Morrowind, they saw this was not. This little design philosophy did not align very well with the idea of, instead of going for the real world scale that they went for in Arena and Daggerfall, the Morrowind's game world is much more compact. It's handcrafted instead of procedurally generated, and so they could get away with, instead of letting you just like warp everywhere essentially or simulate overland travel, they would just give you directions. They'd say go north from the tree stump that's east of Caldera until you find the second hill to the west of the signpost, and you'll find the dungeon and go in there and get the thing that you need and come back to me. Sometimes the NPCs will give you helpful directions and things like that. And I like this system, but I'm sure you all have felt the same frustration as I have in not being able to really find your way in Morrowind, or finding that the directions themselves were simply lackluster. And so you spend way too much time in the wilderness than what you'd like. Uh, they corrected this whenever they, or I should say Bethesda corrected this whenever they produced Oblivion, where they would just have kind of quest markers on your heads up display saying, hey, go here and talk to this person, or go here and kill this thing. You know, you can't get it wrong. There's a little tick on your compass telling you where to go. In my opinion, this was an overcorrection, and I have found many ways when playing Oblivion and Skyrim to circumvent being told where to go, because whenever people tell you exactly where to go and leave no room for your interpretation or your exploration, you're removing what I find to be a pivotal part of the gameplay process from the game. So I've spent some years. I'm making this sound more elaborate than it should be. I have spent some time finding mods and different playstyles that allow exploration to be fun and engaging. So what I'm going to show you today, first in Skyrim and then Oblivion, is just a couple of things I do, mods and settings and things like that, that allow exploration to be rewarding and fun, in my subjective opinion, for these games. I should point out real quick that um, the shifting of the focus of the game away from exploration was not an accident. This is just something that the developers did in Oblivion and Skyrim to make the game more accessible, less frustrating, and allows you to focus more on the character that you're piloting and the stats and how they improve and things like that, rather than focusing on how to get from point A to point B. You just go from point A to point B and you do the thing. I don't really think that destination fever is something that we benefit from. That here's a buddy of mine, he got left behind. Hey buddy, hey, we're going to the next spot. Come with me, bud. Yeah, I don't think that destination fever is necessarily a bad thing, but there he goes. I really get a lot of joy from the events that occur in between point A and point B. And with games like Oblivion and Skyrim in particular, the game is just, the world is so beautiful. Like I think Skyrim shines shines brightest as a walking simulator that has RPG elements in it, because that's really how I treat it. You want to survive on the road, of course. You still want to go on adventures, but the time between adventures, there's just something special and awe-inspiring about them, thanks to the beauty of the game, the richness of the soundtrack, and even just like the sound of my foot. Oh, oops, there's a little mod conflict there. Even just the sound of my footsteps makes the whole experience very enriching. So to start things off, let's talk about the most highly recommended mod I have for Skyrim for being conducive to exploration. This mod is called the Paper World Map. I have it for the Skyrim Special Edition. So I'm going to go to my world map and let you take a look at what's going on here. As you can see, that this mod, with the features I have installed, has removed the three-dimensional aspects of Skyrim, or the world map, I should say. And the roads are more thoroughly and more accurately portrayed here. Whereas the world map that you see in the vanilla game, or the road map that you might have gotten with a paper copy if you're old school like me, I believe those were created in a time whenever the roads were not fully, like the world had not been fully developed whenever that paper map was published. So this mod has every little beaten path thrown into the game, and all the tributaries, rivers, and lakes are accurately depicted here. It is just so beautiful. And you know what's even more beautiful than all of that? Where's the "you are here" indicator? It's nowhere to be found, bro. I just love so. Okay, technically you can hover your cursor over where the "you are here" indicator would be, and it'll show you the current location. But if you just avoid that, you're getting a better feeling for what your character would see when looking at this map, rather than it being, it kind of removes the barrier between the character and the player, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We are working with limited information, just as the character is, and we're going to be using the roads and the natural landmarks to get from point A to point B. So to kind of illustrate this point while talking about it, I went to Solitude and I picked up a quest from the Tavern Keeper. I think it's called the Bee and Barb in Solitude. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, we got sent to Orphan's Tier. Perhaps Orphan's Tear? I think it's Orphan's Tier, which is ostensibly a shipwreck site where we're supposed to kill some bandits, right? So first thing I'm going to do is figure out what the best course of action could be. We could have gone the back way and just circumvented around the coast, follow this path. I don't remember what these dotted lines are, so I'm a little hesitant to follow those. But I think if we go north at this fork, then turn left, and then go north again to Fort Hrogstad, however you pronounce it, we can either cut north from there, or we can continue along this path and hope that we'll be able to see the shipwreck from the coast there. I think we're already reached the intersection while I was in the intro sequence. And I guess elephant in the HUD, I should go ahead and point out that I play with Skyrim with the HUD off. You can do this by going to System, Settings, Display, and turning the HUD opacity, the HUD opacity all the way down. This is a bit awkward, and there is a mod out there called Immersive HUD that gives you a bit more customization about the features that you want to include in the game or in the HUD. I just can't be bothered to install more mods. I don't like the time it takes to install mods and to troubleshoot them. And I'm pretty comfortable with my mod loadout right now, so I'm just going to keep it as is, but I recommend that you check out the Immersive HUD mod if you don't want to experience the wackiness that is having absolutely no HUD at all. Because the game, the screen turns red whenever you're low on health, and if your character is fragile, you kind of have an idea of how many hits you can withstand before you need to take a potion. Like, if you see a guy with a two-handed, mace and he hits you with it, you're going to need to take a potion. Uh-oh, I'm getting cold. You're going to need to use a potion basically immediately. I hope I don't freeze out here. I have the survival mode installed. That might be a bad idea for this mod, but, or for this video, but we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to light a torch. I wonder if I need to do anything with my apparel. People that have watched my Daggerfall playthrough are going to get, flashbacks seeing me struggle to keep up with the weather here. Yeah, I don't know what kind of warmth... Warmth 27. Do I have anything that provides more than that? Not really. Okay, well, we're just going to hope for the best, aren't we? Yeah, so talking about the lacking HUD points here, in addition to having kind of an awareness of... Hey, are we cool, y'all? What are they trying to fight? Alright, I'm just gonna let them handle these. Yo, I'm just passing through, alright? I'm here to fight some bandits, not you. Oops. I don't have a weapon equipped, just smack him in the face. Yeah, we're getting kind of low on health. But we're just gonna try to stun these guys and then run away. Huh. Come on, buddies. For those who are curious, I have multiple mods because of the amazing follower tweaks mod. I'm gonna hope to give these guys the signal to run away by sheathing my weapon and removing myself. Yeah, I typically play this game in an Iron Man fashion, so if my character dies, he just dies. Or my followers. And my character. But, this is just for the recording purposes. I'll reload it if something bad happens to them. So, here's that fort that we saw on the map. I think I'm going to go with the plan of proceeding westward a bit further. And then we'll follow that beaten path up there to the north. There's one buddy. I think Eric the Slayer is still trying to fight the Stormcloaks, whatever. Just gonna turn down my headset so I can hear myself think a little bit. Yeah, so... just as you are aware of your health and you're kind of aware of when you'll be in danger, the same principle applies to Magicka. Once you play a character for a while, you kind of get a feel for when you'll need to chill out, how many spells you can cast, and for how long. This path is turning southward all of a sudden. That must be at Red Herring. Yeah, let's keep going for a while. There should be a little kind of delta-like shape in the road up here somewhere where we will continue. And yeah, same with stamina. If you've done a lot of power attacks recently, you're going to have some awareness that okay, I can do one power attack and then maybe a shield bash, and then I'll need to let my stamina come back. I don't find it super inhibitive to not see my status bars. Uh-oh. Not an ice wraith. No, not like this. Okay. I hate these things. Potion of healing. Resist cold. Okay, I'm really gonna need my buddy to help me out here. Dude, look at that. Do I have invisibility? Yeah, I might need to use invisibility to get away from this thing. Let's hope it works. I don't think it works. Okay, stamina to run away faster, potion of healing, potion of stamina. Okay, I gotta get out of here. Dude, these things are terrible. All right, so this is gonna be a good segue to what I wanted to talk about. Oh, look, we can see the shipwreck from here. Usually whenever you're on the road like this, if you run into an encounter that you have to run from, it forces you to rethink your approach some. You know, either you're going to be lost for a while and you'll have to figure it out from there, or in this case, you'll get lucky and find your destination. Of course, we could run into more frost wraiths by the time we get there, but this is part of the joy for me. Like, I think the quest markers and the overall intuitiveness of the HUD by default, and the quest markers and pointing out enemies with little red dots on your map, I think it gives a bit too much control to the player, more control than what an adventure should allow for. Like, an idea of an adventure is that things are out of your control. We got a level up pending. Yeah, that things are out of your control and that you're going to have to do what you can to circumvent the misfortunes that befall you. And that's just part of the fun for me, you know? So we lost our companions because we had to jump down. Hopefully they'll catch up with me. I don't remember how Amazing Follower Tweaks handles that situation. But yeah, this is the game, man. This is why I love playing Skyrim so much. It's usually, like, I don't play it with the religious fervor that I play Daggerfall Unity or things like that. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. But the game is just so beautiful, and being able to travel on foot from place to place with the HUD off, just taking in the scenery, you know, it's just something special. And whenever you're in situations like this where you're not really sure where to go, you're just going to, oh, look at that. You can kind of see the edge here. That's cool. Yeah, you'll have to figure out and improvise what to do next. We know that once we finish these folks off, we can just kind of follow the coast back to the other road, the road that we chose not to go by, which I now see probably would have been a better option. Oh, wow. You guys are a little bit weak. All right. Cinematic kill shot there, pretty nice. Oh man, yeah. So I think a lot of people tend to complain about their least favorite Elder Scrolls games, and there are a lot of reasonable gripes that you can have about all of them. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of my favorite things about the Elder Scrolls series and the entries is your ability through mods and just tinkering with the settings and your own roleplay style. You have the ability to really customize the experience to suit your preferences. And so, you know, I was at the midnight release of Skyrim in 2011, whenever the game came out, and I enjoyed it for a while and then quickly kind of, I don't know, I found that the game was not for me as much as I thought it perhaps could have been or should have been. But let's go ahead and get their fish here. But the good thing is there are tons of things that you can do, like changing up the HUD and installing mods that will make the game more conducive to the playstyle that you do want. Hello. Somebody's lurking in here. Oh, did my buddy catch up with me? Oh, dang. I fell into the icy water. This is terrible. I don't remember what impact this has given survival mode, but it can't be good. This is like one thing why I've always wanted to avoid water in these. Oh, dude. No way. He actually died. Okay. So if I switch over to talking about Oblivion, y'all will kind of get the idea about Skyrim, right? About why why I play the way I do. Didn't you see how fun that was? I had a lot of fun. I shouldn't have fallen in the water. That was my bad. Let me think if there's anything else I wanted to show off about playing Skyrim. I don't think so. But yeah, playing with the HUD off or using immersive HUD and having a map like this that takes away the "you are here" indicator and allows you to just kind of have a better understanding of where the roads lead and things like that. It will totally change up the game. We should talk a little bit about how important landmarks are in whenever you're playing games like this, but I think that will be better to do when playing Oblivion. So let me switch over to that game. All right, so here we are in the comfy to end all comfy Oblivion. This is another game that I've tweaked like Skyrim to have the most immersive and beautiful experience possible. So let's start by talking about the map. I know I don't use like very good UI mods, so I know I should be using Darnified UI. I can't be bothered to play with mods beyond what I already have installed. But you'll notice that there's no player indicator here, which is just fantastic. I can't express how much I dislike the use of "you are here" indicators in RPGs, because we can get our lay of the land by looking at our maps and by looking around us. I don't know what killed this lady. It's been too long since I've played this game. But yeah, in addition to this, which is called the Map Marker Overhaul, it's the mod that lets you remove the "you are here" indicator in the game. I also use the Immersive Interface mod, which you might have noticed by now. The only thing on my HUD is the health bars, magic bars, stamina bar, that sort of thing. In fact, the health part can go away. I don't want to use a potion here, but we're not really keeping this anyway. Yeah, once your stats in the bottom left corner are all the way filled up, you can set them to go away like you would in Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3, things like that. You can have the auto HUD features there. And you surely, with the immersive interface, you just have a ton of options for... I thought this was... it's Quillweave. I thought that was Dharma or Ditsan. No, I can't think of the lady from Coral who gets abducted and gone to Hector. I thought she found me all the way down here. Anyway, immersive interface mod. It gives you so many options for how you want to arrange your HUD. So I play with like the weapon and spell indicator off as well, because I'm the player, I should know those things already. But of course it is super frustrating to fumble around on your hotkeys in desperate moments whenever you need to have the right spell ready, and you misclick. So I completely understand why you would want to see that thing on your screen, don't get me wrong. The important part is removing the "you are here" indicator from the map by using Map Marker Overhaul, and removing the compass from the game using Immersive Interface. As humans, we generally know how to navigate the world already. We have the sun in the east in the morning, in the west in the afternoon, or the evening, I should say. And we have the advantage of knowing where we have been. We know that we just left Anvil, so if we look around and we see Anvil, a city in some direction, I'm like, oh, dude, that's west or southwest. I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of landmarks when navigating this way. So if you were lost in this area at all, Kvatch should stand out to... Hey, that's not Kvatch, this is from a mod, actually. Certain landmarks will stand out, and I don't know, there's just something in our human experience that uses landmarks as a method by which we become grounded to our situation. It helps us navigate us and like remind us where we've been, where we are going, and it makes rewarding... no, I'm getting ahead of myself. It makes exploration feel really rewarding to navigate by landmarks and to become familiar with the beaten paths that your character makes going from one village to another, or going to one dungeon or another, that sort of thing. Something that happens whenever I'm picking up my kid whenever he stays with his grandparents is I go through these county roads on the way back to my house, and whenever I arrive back in my town, I can see the clock tower that's at the top of our town hall in the distance, and that's kind of a bastion of where we've been, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm about to be home again. You know, it's really I don't know how to describe it. It just feels good to see that place and be like, oh, great, here we are. But yeah, here's Kvatch, a classic landmark for those that are traveling from Skingrad to Anvil or vice versa. But whenever you're traversing Cyrodiil in general, the most glaring landmark, of course, is White Gold Tower, and I believe in the lore, White Gold Tower of the Imperial City should be visible wherever you are. Uh-oh, we've got some bad weather coming in, so I may not be able to illustrate my point very well. So even in, like, in-game, White Gold Tower is not as huge or looming as it is in the lore, I believe. But White Gold Tower serves as that thing that will help you find your way, kind of like the sun, except it doesn't revolve around the clock. But if you're able to find White Gold Tower, you're able to see where you are relative to the Imperial City. You should be able to navigate to your destination from there. I'm just going to keep wandering a bit and see if we can find White Gold Tower. The game worlds for Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, they're kind of small, and though I believe you should be able to use, if you're familiar with the games at all, you should be able to use these natural landmarks to get where you're going regardless. And you know, man, if you get lost, try not to get frustrated if you choose to explore this way. Getting lost is just part of the journey, and you never know what kind of fun and interesting stories your character will end up having just because they got lost, because they got off the beaten path. You know, don't get caught up in destination fever by getting in a hurry to complete the quest and go from here to there. It's kind of like, I think this exists in real life also, this paradigm exists in real life also. If you get too caught up in the things you want to do with your life or with your day, and things like chores, like doing the laundry or doing the dishes, are an obstacle to you, then you're not going to enjoy doing the laundry or doing the dishes. But if you see the laundry and the dishes as happy little side quests that you get to do on the way to your journey, or to your destination rather, then you'll find ways to enjoy those tasks rather than seeing them as a burden or as an annoyance or what have you. So yeah, I believe this will be kind of a shorter video than what you typically see from this channel, but this is something I wanted to address. Like I said, the Elder Scrolls games, through the beauty of mods and just settings and other configurations, you get to tweak them to whatever experience you want. I'm gonna quick save because I feel a crash coming on. You get to tweak them to whatever experience you want. So whether or not these tips are helpful for you or meaningful to you at all, or if they just don't seem like they're something you're into, I hope you enjoyed getting a little bit of a glimpse into what makes playing Skyrim and Oblivion so special for me today. Because whenever you've played these games over and over again, they become so familiar that you may not feel as excited at the prospect of playing them again. But whenever you just drop yourself into the sandbox and allow yourself the space to run around and get lost in the wilderness and explore the beaten paths and stray from them once in a while, it really breathes new life into the game. And this is something that I just think is beautiful and irreplaceable about these Elder Scrolls games. Alright, I'm going to try to run away from this bear. I still can't see White Gold Tower. This is pretty... Oh, wow, look at this. We have a whole pack of boar on me here, man. What the heck? Hey, look, just in time we have Skingrad. Now we know how to get to the Imperial City if we wanted to. Anyway, yeah, I hope this allows you to rethink the way that you view the maps in these games, and maybe, even if you don't like it, give it a try. You know, try these mods out, see how they do. If you don't like it, that's cool, man. I'm glad you tried it. If you didn't try it, thanks for watching anyway. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Y'all have a good one.